Okay, what I wanted to share with you now was some of my tips for writing a strong short answer DBQ. Jot down notes on these Cornell note style, and you can use these notes when you're actually doing your first DBQ short answers. So first, let's have a look at what we've got. I want you to start off with taking effective notes. There are a few things to bear in mind with this. First, you want to capture the main idea of each document or each section of a longer document if that's what you're working from, and have the central question from the DBQ in your mind as you're jotting down these notes. The problem with not doing that is that you'll tend to copy too much information rather than information that's strictly focused on the question at hand. And then, of course, once you do that, you want to compare and contrast this new information that you get from the DBQ with your prior knowledge, because demonstrating prior knowledge is one of the things that we always want you to show when you're writing a DBQ. Once you've done that, then the next thing to do is to select the details that you're going to include in your writing. This should be just in notes or a brainstorm format as you're organizing information. 3 to 5 details or examples usually works the most effective. You want to organize those from the weakest examples to the strongest examples. And I mean weakest as in those that will answer the question but not as well as some others. The ones that answer the question really well are going to be your strongest examples. And once you have those quotations written down, paraphrase them. What that means is write them out in your own words so that you can make sure you understand what is being said. And if you understand it well, you'll be able to write about it well, and whoever reads your writing then will really understand what the point is that you're making. Then it's time to write. There's several points to bear in mind for this. First, an engaging lead-in is going to hook the reader's interest. You can use a quotation, but quotations tend to get a little difficult. But any sort of a sentence that really will grab a reader's attention will be much better than simply starting off with the topic sentence. Once you've got their attention, however, you've got to go into the topic sentence and set the context for what you're writing about. Make sure that you've got a clear thesis statement, or what we call a claim, in there as well. This can be part of your topic sentence. Then, one by one, you're going to cite your examples, use the quotes in sentences of your own, and after each example, make sure that you have explained, or this is what we call paraphrasing, each quote to make the meaning really clear. You don't want to leave it open to your reader to interpret the ideas. You want to interpret the ideas for them. And then finally, when you get to the end, your conclusion should review the information that you've already given and make some sort of a real-world connection, because one of the things that's looked for in a DBQ is a really strong introduction and a strong conclusion. So with a good introduction that has an engaging lead-in and then a conclusion that has maybe some wider application to the real world, you'll be able to make a stronger statement. So here's an example. The question for this one was, what is the effect of coffee consumption on the workplace? I'm not going to read it out loud for you, but I do want to point out a couple of things. First, we've got an engaging lead-in. One of America's founding fathers and premier scientists, Benjamin Franklin, once noted that, quote, "work without coffee is drudgery." And then actually I've made up a document there by Friedman from page 3. And then we can get into the topic sentence. While coffee has long been anecdotally associated with a more productive workplace, recent research shows this happy myth to actually be a fact. So I've set the context, and then I've said exactly what my opinion about it is from having read the documents. Then we go through the documents, and you'll notice each time there's a quotation never sits as an independent sentence. It cannot do that. You have to write it into a sentence of your own. So you can see several examples here. And then when we get to the very end, of course, we want some sort of a conclusion that has more of a real-world application. And so this last sentence works like that. That said, it appears that the benefits of moderate coffee intake outweigh any losses, resulting in a happier, busier workplace. As you're thinking about writing your DBQs, bear these tips in mind, especially for short answer DBQs, and you'll have a really strong result.